Elon Musk posted to social media platform X. I gotta get used to saying that X, right? X on Tuesday. America is going full Joker, referring to the recent looting in Philadelphia. I find it odd when billionaires are people who contribute to income equality criticize the decline of the society. I think we should stop using or stop phrasing what is occurring in America as the decline of the empire and rephrase it as just a natural progression of capitalism. What are your thoughts about this?
Very interesting how Elon Musk, being a multi-billionaire, would come out and say something so cavalier, so immature. I'll say it that way. Again, it's very interesting when I see people with that amount of money. They're very biased and they make it obvious who their culture is, who they support, what they do, what they believe in. I don't hear him say that about the people when they win football games, the soccer riots, all of those things that happen all across the country when these things really happen, where they do the same amount, if not more, flipping over cars, breaking into stores, looting, and all of that in their joyous, jubilant expression of how happy they are about a game being won, etc., or their opponent losing. But when it comes to black folks looting, etc., which is not right, it's not proper, we shouldn't do that. We have to thoroughly understand what causes these situations to occur in every culture, everywhere. That's the main thing. Look at the why, address the cause, and present a solution for that. If you have multi-billions, okay, then you should present a solution rather than complaining about it as if, well, these are just animals. Because if they were white, let's just be very clear, if they were of the European or Caucasian persuasion, there would be more of a, let me see how I can assist, or let me see what programs exist in that area for me to fund, or let me find out the mayor of the city if he needs any help. That's normally how it goes. And so I'm not really mad per se. It's just, again, we have to check people when they're wrong. So on that platform, which again, I was allowed back on X, it's now called X, formerly known as Twitter, after being kicked off by Jack Dorsey from the request of 12 U.S. attorney generals by the White House. I was taken off. Elon Musk took over the app and put myself back on, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on, and 10 others. So I appreciate the freedom of speech, but I don't necessarily entirely trust Elon Musk for that example and for others. They're very biased, and truth is not a universal thing, not entirely, even though some people may believe.
And what are your thoughts about this idea when people refer to America as the Roman Empire in regards to its decline? I just think that we need to acknowledge this is the natural progression of capitalism. The reason I say that, as capitalism becomes more mature within a society, people do anything to get the money, meaning kind of disregarding any moral fiber or principles they had. And I think that's kind of like what we're seeing.
Absolutely. It's interesting how he mentioned the fall of the empire, because that is a very, very accurate echoing of what has taken place in the past. America, we know, is the modern Rome. It is the modern Babylon. It is the modern Sodom and Gomorrah. As a matter of fact, Rome, Babylon, and Sodom and Gomorrah don't really have nothing on America, to be honest with you, as it pertains to the debauchery, the degenerate behavior, the influence, because now we have technology. We have the ability to broadcast influential images, pictures, directives in an instant. Rome, it took time to conquer. It took time to spread. But America is quite literally that modern form of all of those combined. And so her fall was foretold. It is systemic. It's prophetic. It's going to happen. It was destined to happen. And everything that was in Rome is now in America. Everything that was in Greece and Rome, the Greco-Roman culture, they brought everything from pedophilia to the Colosseums to all of that behavior. They brought it over here. And even America gives credit to, I believe, Athens, Greece. She refers to Athens, Greece as the mother of Western civilization. So she acknowledges that area as it pertains to the adoption of her cultural practices here. So this is the child of that area. So for it to be the fall, well, you're just acknowledging what was supposed to happen because you adopted the same practices and the same behavior. So again, it's just very interesting. But to say the fall is because of a few black folks who are robbing a few stores or breaking a couple stores, I'm sorry. No, you're not going to look at the Federal Reserve Act. You're not going to look at slavery. You're not going to look at all of the horrible things that you have done to human beings all across this nation and the planet. The modern, I would say, neo-colonialist movement with over 700 military bases in multiple countries right now, to where you have conquered in the name of the West, in the name of democracy. It's just very sad to see how many people don't know basic history, and they try to say, because of these few black folk in this little area right here breaking into a few stores, again, which is not right. That is not the cause of the fall. The cause of the fall is your deviation from logic, your embrace of evil and wicked behavior, your embrace of a socioeconomic system that destroys human beings, and how you use economics to leverage more slavery practices. And over again, the modern day slave system with prison industrial complexes and how they are overly capitalistic. Capitalism does have a certain place depending on how you use it ethically and morally, but they are overly capitalistic, meaning cutthroat, dollar over everybody. And that's where this fall is coming from, a deviation from God, a deviation from morals, a deviation from ethics. So I think they should be a little more humble before opening their mouth and trying to blame everything on a few black folk. You're basically attacking your victim. You're not taking any kind of responsibility or holding yourself accountable.
On this topic of fall of America, how accurate was or is, the book still exists, Elijah Muhammad's book, Fall of America?
The Fall of America, brother, I would say word for word is absolutely accurate from a biblical standpoint, a Quranic standpoint, a historical standpoint, scientific standpoint, and even a monetary standpoint, because he even addressed after the dollar goes down, the government is going to go down behind the dollar. He specifically talked about the Federal Reserve Act, and after America went off the gold standard in the 1913 area, 1914 Federal Reserve Act, then after that, you're talking about going off the gold standard. Then you're talking about the 1930s, roughly around that time, an adjustment was made in the 1970s, where with Nixon, totally, axing out the gold circumstance to where now it's like, well, wait a minute, you have debt, you have the economy that is over $33 trillion in debt, which that's just one chunk of it. It's actually over 60 trillion. Now you're having more people come in. You're having more debt. You're having all this money go to the Ukraine, all this money go here and there to where the debt ceiling is going to collapse. The dollar is so weak now to where you could just kick it and the whole thing will fall over, brother. I mean, it's horrible. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad should have been listened to. The wise people did listen to him. That's why people started investing in gold, buying up land, finding ways to have tangible assets, because they already knew that what he was saying back then was going to come to pass. He absolutely was and is right and exact.